Okay, that's everything between 8th and 4th value. Now I'll switch to an H-LED and hatch in 2nd and 3rd value. This is also an opportunity to put in extra fine details. I'll start on the left-hand side and work my way across. It's okay to focus on one small area at a time now, because the majority of the values are in, and you know they're accurate thanks to the grayscale chart, so you don't have to worry about your eyes being fooled by the relative value effect. And remember to put a piece of paper down under your hand to avoid smudging all the work you just did. Just a reminder, when it comes to the H-LED, stick to hatching and cross-hatching. That'll give you the best results and make a really nice texture in your drawing. As a matter of fact, if you look closely, the hatching and cross-hatching texture is very similar to the pattern that occurs naturally on a man's hand. There's a lot of detail in this small area, so I want maximum control to make these tiny hatches. Look how close my fingers are to the tip of the pencil. Pay attention to the motion of my hand. All of the control is in my fingertips and wrist right now. I'll just lightly extend the cracks with my H-LED as well. That'll make the transition into the rest of the hand look smoother and more natural. Moving to the meat of the thumb next, you're going to have to transition the texture of the grain left by the 2B lead in the gradient with the H-LED, so you'll have to hatch over the shading you already did, just like you did in the shading exercise in Lesson 2. This couldn't have been achieved with a 2B lead. All that nice soft detail information would have gotten lost in the grain. This is what makes a drawing go from mediocre to outstanding and makes it look finished. You should be noticing detail that you didn't see before, for two reasons. First, because you have a piece of paper covering the rest of your drawing, so your eye is honed in on one tiny area at a time. Second is because with all the broad strokes already done, your eye can focus on the more subtle values and little cracks. I don't know if you can see in the video, but this lighter area has a little grain to it that I want to smooth out with the H-LED. I'm going to try not to go over any of that big cast shadow though, because I want to go over it with a 3B pencil when I'm done with the H, and they don't mix well. I'm going to do the same to this other light area on the palm for the same reason. I just want to smooth out the grain. Don't worry about the value getting darker. At most an H-LED will bring it up about a half a value, which I think it needs anyway. And as I'm shading, I'm noticing some more subtle cracks and shadows that I can put in. That's going to keep happening. This step is designed to help you see and bring out the detail in the drawing. Almost there. The fingers will need a lot of help because most of the shading on them goes abruptly from 9th value down to 2nd and 3rd value, but that's what this lead is for. I do my best to make sure students of varying skill levels, especially beginners, can grasp the techniques taught in the course. So, as I'm sure you've noticed, I'm giving very detailed instructions in this first lesson on drawing a hand. The next lesson will go quicker because you have already learned the fundamentals of the process. And please, ask me questions if you get lost. Don't be shy, a good day for me is answering your questions. I enjoy helping you guys, seeing your results, and reading your reviews. Okay, final step. I'm going to go over some of the darkest areas with a 3B lead to build them up to 9th and 10th value. For this step, I'm going to be using a scumbling technique because I want the darkest values to blend out very softly. Again, my pencil looks different from your wood 3B lead pencil because it's mechanical, but I assure you they are exactly the same. Okay, finishing touches. Remember that eraser I had you sharpen to a point? This is where it shines. Go back into your shading and lighten any area that needs to be adjusted, using a very soft cross-hatching motion. But that's not even the best part. You can also go back and put in the highlights by removing shading, and go back into any area that would have been too confusing to do earlier, like right here on the side of the thumb where the artery is. Lighten that up. The whole side of the thumb has little spots you can lighten, but I should warn you this technique should only be used minimally. Too much will make the drawing look cheap and airbrushed. Don't worry, it's easy to fix if you overdo it, just go back over the area with some light pencil shading. The tips of the fingers can be lightened a little. And finished. And here's your drawing checklist as promised. Of course, this list isn't carved in stone. Depending on the subject and circumstances, you'll have to occasionally change the order, but it's a good guideline to follow.